Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. This is Legit Agents today. Super down to the point, super needed. We get a lot of these individual DMs. We get a lot of private questions, but we don't speak about it too much as far as like being out in the open. But we're gonna get at it. We're gonna be talking about what we wish we knew before we came to eXp.
Let's go. What's up, guys? We are the Legit Agents. I'm Eli Schmidt. This is my partner, Will Grimes. If it's your first time checking out our channel, guys, hit the subscribe button while you're here, along with that notification bell, because every Tuesday and Thursday, we're putting out new videos, and we're diving into everything that has made us extremely successful agents, especially around this new age of marketing, branding, everything that goes into it.
Correct, and we are licensed brokers, and yes, we are looking at teaming up with agents and building their brand and their business. So if that's for you, that number popping up below. We are the guys who answer phone calls, text messages, and emails. Don't be shy. Some of you hit me up in my private DMs, but you won't call the number. Answer the number.
That's right, that's right.
As much as we love making these videos, yes, we love just as much to team up with you guys and help you build your brand. And that's what we're going to be talking about today a little bit. Some people are curious. A lot of people, are curious about, hey, eXp is getting more obvious. It's out there a lot more. People starting to see how reputable it is, but as far as like that transition and taking that leap, what we wish we would have known prior to coming over. Was there any heartache, heartburn? Was there any discomforts? What do we think now? We're going to be covering that as we speak.
In this video, guys, I've been excited to do this one really over the past few months, because a lot of people, especially the people on our personal Facebook, like, they just know Will and Eli are no BS dudes, right? We don't buy into bullshit. We're not jumping on all these different bandwagons like you see. Matter of fact, prior to some decent exposure, which we'll dive into, some decent exposure to people at eXp, I talk shit publicly about eXp quite often.
Yeah, and here's why. So this is gonna dive right into like our first point about as far as like what we knew.
Let's hear it.
When we were talking about it, and he was like, "Hey, eXp," it was also this place and this place and this place and that place.
Holy.
It wasn't the brand, it was the people that were coming after us, trying to recruit us. And it wasn't just eXp at that moment, it was Keller Williams and some other places. And hey, every place can be a great place per se, right? Every place can be a bad place per se, depending on what is that, right? So during that time when Eli said that on a podcast, we had a lot of what I call bottom feeders that aren't proficient at real estate, that don't scale, that don't do a great job, that merely came over to eXp just so they could recruit and get people into their downline, and they would just expect people to come into their downline and they could make the revenue share.
Well, that's their only pitch to us, is revenue share and stock options. And I'm like, no, both of those. I don't give a shit. We're trying to sell homes.
Well, we knew at that point, right, like with the success that we had at Berkshire, we'd already made our own after action reports, our own branding, we had our own training, we were running our own team. We knew, hey man, brands aren't gonna make you. So we're not gonna go changing our principle if we decide to go to eXp or anywhere else. We already knew wholeheartedly, nobody's gonna make your brand for you. No one's gonna scale you. This is up to you. And then placing yourself around the right people. The one thing that we do wish we would have known is how great that community actually is, away from the bottom feeders, right? So the Greg McDaniels, the Mark Pattersons, the Jessies and Jacksons, we've met a lot of high-level dudes. Mark Patterson in San Diego is doing 1,000 deals a year. Phenomenal guy. We collabed on some video, did some cool stuff in San Diego. He taught us some stuff. We taught him some stuff on what we're doing. And between him and 5 or 6 others that are in the top 25 that are doing 700, 800, 900, all the way to 1,000 deals a year, they didn't recruit us, you know, but they had an extraordinary value and let us in their world. And they thought we were valuable and brought us into their world. And we were collabing on some stuff. And we asked them like, hey, why don't you guys do that? We hear so much of this. And it's like, yeah, man, we know that there's people that are out there that are doing that, but we're focused on being a value add, and we want the right people in our downline. So no, we don't go whoring our mouth out, just saying a bunch of crap, because when you have that person that's coming in with the whole, like, what's in it for me, it just hurts the integrity. And because we had a pretty large team, we've had success. When they were talking like that, it was like, yeah, the same way they're approaching their team and or downline at eXp, it's the same way we approached our team at Berkshire. We didn't speak about it at all. It was all word of mouth, and agents that were on our team mentioned it to other agents around. And we had great culture and great integrity with it, and people there for the contribution of the team. They knew they would get something out of it, but they also understood that they had to be a value add into that team. And it was the same way. So again, the community The top producers that are there, guys, when we went there, and it's still current today, 7 out of the top 10 top producers in the country are eXp.
Nuts.
Right? So this
That's
whole
crazy.
like eXp doesn't do deals.
Not true.
We had the #1 Remax team in Colorado come over to eXp. They're not even in the top 200.
Yeah. There's real producers over there.
It doesn't happen if people aren't doing deals. But here's what's really cool, right? People that are ambitious, that, hey, that team is #1 in Colorado, you could rest on that, right? You can just sit back and be a big fish in a small pond and rest on some success and some accolades and continue to win that award. Or you can step out and challenge yourself and take yourself to the major leagues where people are really doing some big things and learn some things from them and really scale your business, right? So, man, I just wish we'd have known that a little bit sooner. It doesn't necessarily mean that we would have converted sooner, but it's just nice to know that, no, there's plenty of hitters and there's a great community, and no, they have no interest in convincing you of anything. Like, they're out and they're crushing, and if you're not doing your due diligence to look into some things like that, they're not going to sit here and try to convince you of it like a bottom feeder would.
Okay, my next point here is that your upline, your lineage per se, matters. The line that you join at eXp is extremely important. Now, we got lucky. We didn't get lucky necessarily. We just chose the right place. However,
We didn't get lucky. We met people and did our due diligence, and there was a handful of people we could have gone down into. This guy is not crediting our due diligence.
That's the part that I'm saying we got lucky. We got lucky meeting the right people that were doing business the way we wanted to do business.
I still don't like how he's phrasing this.
And that's the most important thing, guys, is make sure that when you are choosing who you're going to go under at eXp, it freaking matters, because here's the thing. Once you come over and you join the downline at eXp, let's say you find someone else that you really mesh well with, they're doing business the way you want to do business with, you would have to leave eXp for 6 months in order to come back and join under a different downline.
Most importantly, here's how you avoid ever having to do that at all. We had about 5 people that we could have joined into their downlines that would have happily accepted us in our team and all that good stuff. And some people were a little upset at first when we didn't join their downline, and they got over it and it was okay. Where we decided to go was not only where guys were being extremely successful, they were also successful in the manner that we wanted to be successful. So one of those other downlines we did not choose, great guys, but they do a lot of cold calls. They do a lot of leads. They do a lot of like for sale by owners.
Yeah, circle prospecting, open houses.
Not saying that stuff doesn't work, but here's the deal. You're a big wig, you're a big dude, but everything you have to teach us is everything that we just don't want to do, right? That's a problem. So the guys we went under, yeah, they were super heavy on video and social media and had tapped into YouTube and were crushing the YouTube world, and we spoke that language, and we also saw the vision of our business going in that direction, and it's excelled. So it's not just about finding successful people. It's finding successful people within the lane that you guys want to be successful, right? So give those, and here's the other thing, like you also got to look at, hey, take some of your emotion out of it, right? Like, take some of the discomfort out of it. You also got to look at how are realtors becoming successful, right? Because less and less the for sale by owner, less and less the leads, unless you're spending $60,000 a month, are not necessarily working for you, right? So you've also got to realize, like, hey, is there a changing of the guard here? Is video and branding and marketing this way and doing YouTube video and YouTube ads and stuff more of a hitter? Yeah, and like, hey, are you good on video, but it's a little hard to get used to? Should you maybe get used to it because that's where the tide is going? Absolutely, in my opinion, I think you should think that.
Now, one thing you guys also want to do is, in addition to the person that you're joining under, you want to make sure that you continue to go up the lineage and see who's in their upline, because one of the things that I love about our group is that the guys immediately that we joined under, their bread and butter is video and YouTube, and that's us, and we crush, and it has literally been life-changing since we've started implementing those YouTube strategies and started implementing that. But there's guys also up above us that are massive, massive, massive team owners. Will and I don't want to own a massive team, right?
Well, we have access to them.
Yeah, Jake Kinder, Michael Reese are both massive team owners. There are more lead-focused guys, cold callers, Chuck Fazio, or I'm sorry, not Chuck Fazio, Frank Driscoll. He was one of the #1 like cold call phone sales guys in the nation. And then you've got Chuck Fazio. If recruiting is your primary thing, Chuck Fazio is like master recruiter. His bread and butter. But
let's slow down just a little bit, right? Like, hey, I'm super cool if you want to like recruit and do your thing.
Yep.
Hey, but if you're just make sure that you're also learning from us and some other people to make sure that your process with transactions and the professional actual practitionership of doing a deal is great, because as you're recruiting people, what you don't want to have happen is you're recruiting a ton of people and then you think Will and Eli are going to train them
100%.
because we're above you.
100%.
They can have access to all of our content, and our private Zoom calls and our private Facebook stuff that are for members only, absolutely they can. But I'm not going to go teaching them in lieu because you can, but you recruited them. So you just want to make sure that you're still efficient. And at the end of the day, when you're talking to people, you're the face of the company. You're the face of everything first. So you got to understand, like, there's got to be a value add to you. Everybody above you is like that cherry on top that they can dive into and have a lot of fun
100%.
with. But don't put the expectation on your upline to just do it for you. Not going to happen.
And honestly, they don't. So if we're talking things you must know, understand that these guys, all the names I just mentioned, you're not just going to pick up a phone and get a hold of them. They're all extremely busy, extremely successful.
You schedule a call and all that good stuff.
They've got courses and stuff. Everyone's got courses and everything built out.
But you got to understand, hey, you're the practitioner.
Yes.
You got to build your brand, and we're all here to help you. But no, as you recruit people, they can have access to everything, but I'm not going to start doing some one-on-one coaching for them.
Absolutely.
Right? So make sure that you can just have some sustainability. And that's also just having the integrity at the downline. You don't want to be that bottom feeder. That's good for nothing. That's just recruiting, right?
Nope.
Not going to happen. Not in this downline.
Nope.
We're going to keep the integrity where it needs to be.
All right, guys. Now, one thing here that was honestly kind of expected, so it wasn't a huge surprise to me, but still something good to know. And as we have people that are coming on board, this is a conversation we always have with them, is that the onboarding process is a little cumbersome at eXp. So to dive into what that looks like a little bit, one of the best things that I love about eXp that I did not know until we got over here is that they run so efficiently because they have a person for every little job that could possibly be done at a brokerage. At your traditional brokerage, you've got a managing broker that's getting paid $36,000 a year, which means they still have to do their own sales, and they have to recruit, they have to train, they have to onboard. If you're lucky, you'll have an office manager who kind of sits at the front, maybe a transaction coordinator, but that managing broker, man, he's got a lot on his plate, and he still is having to do his own deals. But you kind of have a go-to person for things. At eXp, they want to basically give one person a duty, decentralized command, right? So you've got one person in charge of literally every little thing. So part of the hard part about coming on board is learning, hey, who do I contact for all these little steps?
The virtual office is really cool. You can virtually walk through it. It's kind of nerdy, but it's cool. But it's also very simplistic because it's like, hey, if you got a problem with any type of pay, if you have a problem with compliance, if you have a problem with like, hey, I need to call my managing broker. Your managing broker is there for managing broker things, right? Like, are you having an issue or a complaint with the client? Is something going to mitigation? You have a question on, hey, who should I contact legally for a legal question?
Yeah.
Everything is there for you. We've even had some difficult title companies that have to like pay a certain way where they have to actually pay eXp all the money, right? And then eXp has to then pay you. As long as eXp knows things are closed and good to go, they actually just wire you the money before they even get your check. They just need to know that the check's in the mail, and then they just forward you your money, so you're still paid like that. So even where there's been areas where there could be hiccups, when you empower certain lanes and you've got proficient people that aren't worried about doing 10 different jobs, they can stay super hyper-focused in what they do, and it's very simplistic. As you guys get to know the back end a little bit better, when you guys are getting navigated through with your upline, learning some of that's going to be crucial. It's also a super easy learning curve once you guys get used to it.
Yes, it is. And expect about 2 weeks, like not 2 weeks to get over and get onboarded. Your license can get activated right away. But it's about 2 weeks of kind of going through all the training and all the systems and everything that they have. There might be a little bit of confusion about who to contact for what. But honestly, it's just usually a quick email, and
you're putting in an hour a day. You're just getting an email, and you start going through the process. You get an email every day. You're putting in an hour a day. I encourage you guys to take the KV Core classes. KV Core is phenomenal.
That's our CRM.
It's done a lot of powerful stuff for us. We're super, super big, as in we, as in him, is super big on flexibility and proficiency of backends and how we can operate everything that it is that we do between our YouTube contacts and the second chat and everything. Like, it's phenomenal. But you don't know what you don't know. So if you're that person that like doesn't want to put your time into KV Core and watch the videos and how to learn it, but then you call your upline with 2,000 questions and they're all answered on these videos, like you don't want to give your own time into your research, but you want to take somebody else's time to answer your question, right? Like, just the integrity behind that's a little questionable. Put the time in and learn, like, hey, what are my tools and how well can I utilize them? And then we'll help you with the creative side on how we use it. But the bottom line is phenomenal, but it's not over. Just put an hour in a day, you'll be in a great spot.
Now, the other thing that was a pleasant surprise, which was actually a huge reason after we kind of started having eXp conversations as to why we actually pulled the trigger and jumped over, is because we found out how flexible, and not only flexible, how encouraging they are for individual agents to build their own personal brand.
Right, and not even just a brokerage, but like when you're a part of a team, like we had the Genesis home team when we were at Berkshire Hathaway, and Eli were pretty much the faces of that brand, and people contributed to it, but they were part of that team. And over here, hey, cool, you're in Will and Eli's downline, right? We're the Mile High Property Brothers. You are not the Mile High Property Brothers. We're going to teach you how we do everything it is that we do. We're going to encourage you and empower you to build your own brand and be that person that people can know, like, and trust. Have a brand that's readily identifiable that you can take credit for and be proud of.
And man, that is one reason that I know eXp is going to be excelling like crazy, and why they're excelling like crazy right now. Because we've talked about this in other videos, more and more agents are starting to catch on that our clients don't give a crap what brokerage we're at. They don't care if it's RE/MAX, Century 21, Berkshire Hathaway, eXp. What they want to know is, hey, who is the agent or the team that I'm going to be working with? So eXp gets that. So as long as you've got their logo, they go through compliance, and we've got to make sure it's state compliant, but as long as their logo's on there, they want you to brand yourself. eXp doesn't need or want the recognition necessarily from your clientele. They want to empower you as the agent to build your own brand that is recognized and trustworthy.
And here's what's cool: if you own a team, or if you're curious about having a team, or or maybe it's a little bit far off, just understand this: like, we had a team, and they pay a certain split, right? But at some point, like, when they're proficient enough, why would they pay us a split? Like, if they're independent and they're doing everything, but they're still on our team because they like being on the team, cool, but they're still paying a commission split to the team, correct? So at some point, they're going to want to leave our team to create their own team, right? And then, like, man, I'd love to train them on how to build a team, but they're not on our team, right? So it's like, man, I'm doing that, but like, what's the benefit? So that's where the revenue share comes in, right? That's where everybody, how they get paid on their team, how they get paid on their downline, it's beneficial for everybody. So you don't ever have to feel like you have to leave. If you come to Will and Eli and you start getting better and you want to get into recruiting and helping other people build their brand, so now you're not only just a proficient realtor, but now you want to build your own downline and start doing leadership things, and your new client is no longer transactions, it's agents, and helping them build their brand. Hey, that's awesome. And here's what's more awesome: you don't have to leave. We just start teaching you that stuff, right? Because it's all revenue based, right? So there's nothing like a traditional team. So the framework is just different. And seeing that from where we were at with the traditional team, yeah, we had a lot of all-star agents. At some point, they would have left us because they're not going to pay us a commission when they feel like they've learned everything they can. They're ready for that leadership level, but they can't get it if they're on our team. They have to leave and start their own team. But you know who does benefit from that? The brokerage you're at. So when we were at Berkshire Hathaway, and we have 9, 12, 16, 25 agents on our team, and 5 of them are rock stars and they crush a ton of deals and they're ready for leadership, and then those 5 teams go make teams, or those 5 agents go and make teams. Well, now Berkshire Hathaway has 5 more people that are recruiting and building teams and having agents crush, yet that just walked out of my door, right? And like, so just take the emotion of it, look at it from a business aspect. Why do you think influencers are going to eXp? It's just a different model, right? Like, take the good and the bad, and I'm a Ford guy or a Chevy guy or whatever trash is out there. Just look at the framework for what it is. Other brokerages, they're not even in the appropriate framework to even make an adjustment to provide something like this. Keller is trying something similar to try to like muddy the water a little bit to offer something to their agents. The fact that they're even doing that lets you know, hey, they're onto something over here at eXp. It's very, very, very agent based. It's very empower agents. That's why influencers have gone over here, right? Because people, Jay Kinder, Michael Reese, they got 10,000 agents in their downline. They're not selling houses. Okay, they're teaching on private Facebook groups and private Zooms, and they're speaking at events, and they're empowering agents on how to do what they did when they were doing 500-700 deals a year. And why would they do that? Because it benefits them to continue to teach because of the revenue, because they don't have to worry about anybody ever leaving. Everybody that's with them is just going to continue to build and grow and grow and grow, and they can continue to help. So your ceiling here is endless. That's what I love most. Just make sure you're getting around the right people. Obviously, there's good and bad people. There's good and bad people in the Marine Corps, in the Army, in the Navy, whatever, right? Same thing with brokerages, same thing with life. So make sure you get around the right people that are committed and dedicated to actually helping you. But man, the framework and just how this thing operates, last point I'll leave you with is it's not a franchise. It's all a cloud-based brokerage. Everybody's happy to help one another. Mark Pattison is not in our upline or our downline, but he's a good dude, and we met him, and we still collaborate and do cool stuff because we get along with him. Awesome. So there's people here that can help you that aren't even from your downline, that are just happy to help, and you can get into different courses or, different private groups to learn some things, because everyone's happy to help, because it's one big conglomerate versus the whole franchise versus franchise thing.
Mm-hmm. And guys, since COVID, eXp, people really realized what eXp had already had in place 5+ years pre-COVID. They're on the right track, because once offices shut down and people were working remotely, I think everyone kind of really realized, like, oh man, do I need to go in my office? Am I actually productive in there? And they really everyone's kind of perception shifted, because eXp had already been on this train for a long time. And like he mentioned, Keller Williams is making some changes to implement something similar to eXp. What I want you guys to remember, when Netflix was taken off, Blockbuster also tried doing mail-in DVDs for a little while. Don't talk yourself into staying at Blockbuster thinking it's going to pop, because Netflix is already so far ahead of the game, and that's eXp, guys. So the more and more we grow, get people like Grant Cardone, Will and Eli over here, like, eXp's going places, guys, and we're really making this video because we don't want you to be left behind. We're doing more business than we've ever done. It's because of us, but it's also because of the people that we've gotten around.
The framework allows it, guys. We've got people that are in our downline that get access to us all over the country. That was not possible at Berkshire Hathaway. So the bottom line is, put yourself around the right people, and then put yourself within the framework where you can scale and people don't have to leave you. Because if you're a team leader and you're watching this, it's not so much of whether you're going to come over, right? It's everybody on your team and where they're going to go. If you're younger and you want to have a brand one day, or you want to build a team, and maybe you're at somewhere that's traditional, at some point you're going to run out of value, and your team is going to leave you, and they're going to be somewhere else, right? So,
and if you do have a team, real quick, you can do a traditional team model over at eXp. Well, 100% you can. But what he's talking about, the added benefit, is if anyone does want to leave your team and start their own, or they just want to branch off from the one with the
it's
eXp,
still within your revenue.
They're still in your downline. You're still getting revenue off of the effort and the training and the systems that you helped that person develop.
Correct.
So even if they leave, you're still benefiting.
It's a win-win.
Yep.
Everybody helps everybody here. Man, like, it's not the MLM trash that you guys are probably thinking of. Like, you just don't know what you don't know, but it's a great community. I think if you guys know us and that we're straight shooters.
It's not a pyramid scheme. It's not even a scheme per se.
And we've also told some people no, right? Like, if you're going to go do 5 deals a year and you're never going to cap, hey, and you don't want a team, like, maybe this place isn't for you, right? There's a couple other circumstances where maybe it's not for you. If you have questions on that,
sounds like another good video.
Call the number below, text the number below, email us. Yes, we do want to help you build your brand and your business, but we also want to make sure that you've got some honest feedback. So if this place is not for you, I promise you I'm the first one that's going to tell you, because I'm going to be the guy that's going to help you, right? So if it's not for you, I definitely don't want to be dragging you through that. So if you guys have questions, reach out. We would love to help you guys out with your business. Until next time, until next video. Subscribe.
Right.
Like it if you like it. We'll see you guys soon.
See you guys.